Hello, welcome to Storytime with Chandell's family. Today we are going to read a book called Claus, the Christmas Princess by Brittney Ryan, illustrated by Aloud with Stephanie Bedtime. First, I'm going to tell you this book is scary at the middle and happy at the end. One December night in 1878, a boy named Christopher was writing a letter to Santa Claus. Santa Claus receives thousands and thousands of letters at Christmas. But Christopher's letter was the one that changed history. Dear Santa Claus, you know I have never written. I could never think of anything I need or wanted for Christmas. But this year I had a different idea. What do you wish for Christmas, Santa? You always answer children's wishes. But what about your own? Is there one thing in the world that you wish for but do not have? If you will pass the letter back to me, I will do all I can to bring your dream to life. Respectfully, your friend, Christopher W.C. And forever, King Nicholas, also known as Santa Claus, was reading his letters. Tears was falling down his cheeks, and his wife, Queen Viviana, wrapped her arms around him. He was reading Christopher's letter. Nicholas cleared his throat. No one has ever asked me what I wished for. Do you have a wish? Asked Viviana. I wish for a child. Nicholas knew it was the one thing he dreamed of, but did not have. His wish was granted. King Nicholas made an announcement to the magical inhabitants of forever. My people, this is a great day in our land, for Queen Viviana and I have been blessed with a baby daughter, the first child ever to be born in the land of the immortals. You have a princess, my friends, and her name is Claus. Holly was a beautiful little girl, filled with love. It was said that she had the purest and most compassionate heart of anyone had ever born. Far away in another world there lived an evil warlock named Hurricane, who had once lived in forever. Because of his acts of cruelty, he had been banished from the land of the immortals and cursed with a painful band around his head and the loss of his powers. The curse could be broken only if he were to be loved by a pure heart that would be freely given to him. On the day of Holly's christening, her godmother gave her a magic locket. The locket would protect Holly from harm and remind her of the power of love. That same day, Hurricane invaded forever. Using his wicked powers, he encased Holly's heart with ice, forcing her to live only in a frosty world, lest her heart should melt. Hurricane foretold a terrible future for Holly. She would be free only if she were to marry Hurricane when she was old enough to do so. Because of Hurricane's curse, the gates of forever were locked and its inhabitants imprisoned. Santa Claus could no longer travel to the human world, and the winter of Christmas disappeared altogether. Holly grew up in forever, but she was often lonely without human friends to play with. She had a circle of animal companions. Tundra, the wolf, her loyal guardian. Empy, the funny penguin. Euphemia, the wise owl. And Lexi, the mischievous fox. Despite their company, Holly was often sad. Papa, she said one day, I know the truth. It is because of me that the gates of forever are locked, and you cannot bring Christmas magic to the world. If only I could do something to lift the curse. Nicholas reassured her by saying, My beloved daughter, you are the joy of my life. You must know you are not to blame for her circumstances. I believe we will somehow find a way to break the spell and bring Christmas joy back to children everywhere. One evening, Holly discovered a splendid treasure sitting atop a grand pedestal in her father's library, the most magnificent book she had ever seen, the Book of Forever. Every inhabitant of the land had a special page describing the accomplishment or good deed that had earned their immortality. Holly found a page with her own name on it, beautifully inscribed, but below it was nothing written. "But why is my page blank?" she asked her father. "It will be filled in time," he reassured her. "How?" inquired Holly. "One day you will perform a unique act of kindness for the people of the world, and your generosity will be recorded here," Nicholas replied. "It is your life's purpose, and it will be made clear to you when the moment is right." Holly wondered how she could perform this special act if she could never leave forever. In her room, Holly had a magical telescope that showed her all the wonders of the mortal world. She loved to look out at the beauty of the oceans and bustle of the cities, and she longed to visit them someday. But she also saw a world without Christmas, a world where children's dreams and wishes went unanswered. In one place called the Empire City, Holly could see helpless orphans and wandering through the bitterly cold street, and she began to dream of bringing them all happiness. Holly found herself thinking more and more about the Empire City. She felt drawn to it by a force she did not understand yet could not ignore. But her life's purpose, the one that would earn her immortality and fill her page in the Book of Forever, be fulfilled there. But how to make the journey? It will be made clear to you when the moment is right, her father had said. Finally, one night before Christmas Eve, Holly awoke to discover the sky glistening with a wondrous rainbow. The radiant arc of color appeared to form a bridge over the gates of forever. Instinctively, Holly knew this was her chance. Although leaving the boundaries of forever meant risking a meeting with Hurricane and the possibility of never being able to return, Holly put all fear aside, harnessing her own team of reindeer to a sleigh with their leader, Meteor, at the front and her animal friends at her side. Holly soared across the rainbow bridge to freedom. They arrived with the dawn. The snowy Empire City stretched out beneath Holly, glowing with light and its own spirit. Gently, softly, the sleigh landed in Central Park. A ragged band of children was huddled around a small fire, and Holly approached them. She explained that she was new to the city, and one of the orphans, a boy named Jeremy, offered to help her find a job and a place to live. Jeremy led Holly to Carol's Curiosities and Wonders, a shop filled with magnificent toys of all kinds. There, Holly met kindly Mr. Kleiner, who ran the shop, and its mysterious owner, Mr. Carroll. Mr. Kleiner offered Holly a job in the toy shop. All day long, she met an endless stream of children and helped them to find the toys of their dreams. Just as the rays of the setting sun were glinting through the window, a tall, dark man appeared in the toy shop. He said his name was Hunter Hartman. "Perhaps you can help me, miss," said Mr. Hartman. "I have to buy a number of toys. Gifts for poor children," he added quickly. Of course, Holly agreed to help him, and together they selected dozens of toys. Once Mr. Hartman had finished buying the toys, he invited Holly to attend the opera with him. Although there was something about Mr. Hartman that made her uneasy, she agreed to join him that evening. Holly wore a beautiful gown covered with magic crystals that made a pattern of enchanted lace. Mr. Carroll was at the opera too. Holly saw him watching her, and she felt as if they had known each other forever. After the performance, Mr. Hartman tried to entice her to remove her locket in exchange for a magnificent necklace of diamonds and pearls. All at once, Holly realized that Mr. Hartman was really Hurricane in disguise, trying to trick her, and she refused to remove the locket. Holly fled from Mr. Hartman and returned to the toy shop. It was late at night as she walked up the stairs and discovered a richly carved door. Holly gently pushed it open and beheld an amazing sight indeed. Mr. Carroll was standing on the other side as if he had been waiting for her. He showed her around his secret workshop. Holly was astonished by the hundreds of toys and inventions that bobbled and buzzed across the floor, through the air and up the walls. Mr. Carroll and Holly talked late into the night about the wonder of toys he had created. "This reminds me of Santa's workshop in Forever," she told him. A strange look came over Mr. Carroll's face. "Don't you believe in Santa Claus?" Holly asked. "I did when I was a boy," he replied. "A friend wrote Santa Claus a letter once, asking what he wished for, and I got an answer." He laughed and pulled out a dusty, unopened letter from his desk to show her. "But I never opened the letter. That was the Christmas my mother went away, and I stopped believing in everything." Suddenly, Holly realized who Mr. Carroll was. "You are Christopher W.C., she said. "It was your letter that made my father's wish come true, and I am the child he wished for." Holly told Christopher the truth, the story of her life, everything about the kingdom of Forever, and Hurricane and his curse, and Santa Claus, her father. But Christopher did not believe her. It all sounded preposterous to him. Holly knew that Hurricane would be back, and because she was in love with Christopher, she worried that Hurricane might try to hurt him. The only way to ensure his safety would be for her to leave the toy shop altogether, taking the locket from around her neck. She gave it to Christopher. "I know you don't believe me," Holly said, "but promise me you will keep this forever. It will protect you as it protected me." Holly left Christopher alone in his workshop, feeling sad and confused. He opened the letter. It says, "Dear Christopher, in your letter, you asked me a question that I had never before been asked. I thought that you should know my wish. It was for a child of my own, because of your selfless love and willingness to give instead of receive. I have been blessed with a daughter, Princess Holly, and your name will be inscribed in the Book of Forever. Your admirer, Santa Claus." Christopher Winter Carroll stared at the yellowed paper. He knew now that Holly had been telling the truth. For a moment, he stood still. He must find Holly, for he held in his hand the locket, the one thing that could save her. He dashed from the shop. Holly waited for Hurricane in the park. The weather had turned warm because of a deadly spell the hurricane had cast. The snow was melting, and so was Holly's heart. She began to feel weak, and her breathing grew labored. All at once, Hurricane appeared before her. "Just say the word, and I'll save you," he sneered. "You'll feel neither pain nor sorrow ever again for all eternity." "Never!" Holly whispered. "Holly!" a voice shouted. It was Christopher. In that moment, Holly knew how to conquer her enemy with love. She turned to the evil warlock. "If you will let Christopher live, I will not only go with you willingly, I will love you. Hurricane looked at her in amazement. How could she love him after all he had done to cause her misery? In his own heart, he felt a tiny bit of warmth begin to grow, and with that, his whole being exploded. In moments, the only thing that remained of Hurricane was a small circle of ashes. The warlock's curse was conquered by Holly's act of love. Far away, in the kingdom of forever, the big gate swung open. At last, Santa Claus could once again bring the magic of Christmas to the world. Joining hands, Christopher, Winter Carol, and Holly Claus stepped into the sleigh that would take them home. Inside the king's library, shimmering words began to appear on the page that had always been blank. Holly Claus, the Christmas princess, the courageous young woman who followed her heart and saved Christmas with her love. Holly's story will now be inscribed in the book of forever, for all time. Now every child in the world will know the magic of Christmas forevermore. The end. Do you like our story? Put your answers in the YouTube comment box below. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year of 2022! And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Ring the bell so you won't miss our new videos. Share it with all your friends. See you later. Love you guys. Bye!